Ukraine's low-cost drone swarm cripples $2.4 billion Russian logistics hub near Moscow. Today, Ukraine executed a coordinated strike that demonstrated how modern warfare increasingly hinges on timing, integration, and the intelligent use of comparatively inexpensive systems against high-value targets. What unfolded over several hours was not a single dramatic blow, but a carefully layered operation designed to strain Russian defenses, expose command and control nodes, and then methodically disable a major military logistics hub from the inside. By leveraging drones valued in the tens of thousands of dollars against infrastructure built and stocked at a cost measured in the billions, Ukrainian forces inflicted losses later assessed at approximately $1.4 billion. Severely degrading a transport complex that supported Russia's central operational grouping. This outcome was not the product of chance or improvisation, but the result of deliberate sequencing. To understand how the hub was rendered non-functional, the account must begin at the moment the early morning calm was first broken. At 4:07 a.m. on the outskirts of Moscow, the pre-dawn stillness fractured abruptly. From forested corridors and forward launch areas in western Russia, including sections of Smolensk Oblast, dozens of Ukrainian kamikaze drones lifted off within moments of one another. Each drone, valued at roughly $25K, flew at very low altitude, generally below 200 feet, remaining under the effective coverage envelope of many Russian long-range radar systems. This flight profile was intentional. Russian early warning networks, optimized to detect higher altitude aircraft and missiles, registered the contacts too late to allow for a fully coordinated response. The drones moved toward a Russian military transport hub whose infrastructure, rolling stock, fuel reserves, and equipment were collectively valued at approximately $2.4 billion. The facility served as a key node for the movement of fuel, ammunition, and armored vehicles supporting Russian formations operating across multiple sectors. As the drones advanced, Russian tracking displays filled with fragmented and rapidly shifting contacts, reflecting the difficulty of classifying and prioritizing low-flying, small signature targets moving through terrain clutter. Behind this initial drone wave, a second echelon remained on standby. Mine-laying robotic vehicles and long-range guided munitions, each system valued at over $1 million, waited for confirmation that Russian air defenses were fully engaged. Their purpose was not symbolic or psychological. These assets were tasked with cutting off fuel convoys, immobilizing armored vehicle parks, and isolating the transport hub from reinforcement and resupply. Within minutes, the operational picture confirmed that Russian defensive attention was focused upward and outward, creating the conditions needed for the next phase. As the first drones crossed the outer security perimeter, Ukraine activated an expanded intelligence layer. High above the area, long-range reconnaissance unmanned aerial vehicles, each costing approximately $200K, established persistent overwatch. These UAVs fused their sensor feeds with commercially available satellite imagery, producing a continuously updated three-dimensional map of the complex. Infrared and thermal imaging traced the outlines of fuel depots, tank shelters, ammunition storage areas, and covered supply corridors. Infrastructure designed to survive conventional air attack was now fully visible to Ukrainian planners in near real time. At ground level, smaller autonomous systems went to work. Mine-laying robots valued at under $40K, each moved through drainage channels, service corridors, and supply trenches. These systems deployed TM-62 anti-tank mines and shaped charges along the primary access roads and internal movement routes. Their mission was straightforward: disrupt movement and seal off exits before Russian commanders could accurately assess the scale or direction of the attack. By the time alarms echoed through the facility, several key approach and withdrawal routes had already been compromised. The airspace above the hub then shifted once more. Ukrainian MiG-29 and Su-27 fighter aircraft, each platform valued in the tens of millions of dollars, appeared at altitude, flying simulated attack profiles through the upper cloud layer. These aircraft retained full combat capability but did not commit to weapons release. Their role was to provoke a defensive response and draw Russian air defense systems into active emission. The tactic succeeded quickly. Russian S-400 batteries activated, launching interceptors and revealing their firing positions as distinct signatures on Ukrainian monitoring systems. Shortly thereafter, Russian Su-35 fighters, each valued at more than $40 million, were scrambled to challenge what appeared to be an emerging air threat, resulting in brief but intense aerial engagements over and around the transport hub. With Russian air defenses fully committed, the reconnaissance phase transitioned into the strike phase. From concealed launch sites roughly 40 miles away, Ukrainian medium-range missile units fired coordinated salvos. Each guided munition, valued at several $100,000, climbed briefly before descending onto pre-designated targets. One missile struck a cluster of fuel reservoirs, producing a towering column of fire, visible for miles. Another impacted an armoured vehicle yard, overturning T-90 main battle tanks and BMP infantry fighting vehicles, as the shockwave rippled across reinforced concrete surfaces. As Russian personnel attempted to regroup and evacuate equipment, the battle's acoustic signature changed again. Dozens of FPV kamikaze drones entered the area, flying low through smoke and flame while guided by live video feeds. Two drones struck fuel trucks attempting to leave the depot, igniting rolling fires that spread rapidly across the yard. A third penetrated an ammunition storage structure, triggering a secondary explosion that shattered windows across much of the facility. At this stage, Ukrainian assessments indicated losses already in the hundreds of millions of dollars, reflecting destroyed fuel, vehicles, and storage infrastructure, with the full extent of the damage still unfolding. The engagement soon expanded beyond the immediate area. Nearly 1,000 miles away, Russian naval assets operating in the Baltic Sea launched long-range cruise missiles toward a Ukrainian airbase, Bors supporting unmanned operations, a critical node in Ukraine's drone campaign. Each missile was valued at more than $1 million. Ukrainian radar systems detected the launches promptly, activating air defenses and countermeasures. Interceptors were launched, and base personnel took protective action. This exchange underscored that the conflict had entered a phase where actions at one node rapidly triggered responses across great distances. Back at the transport hub, thick smoke and debris reduced visibility to minimal levels. Ukrainian drones continued to orbit overhead, transmitting targeting data as Russian air defenses fired intermittently through the haze. The aerial phase had achieved its primary objective. Russian coordination was increasingly fragmented, and the window for ground maneuver had opened. At 4:41 a.m., Ukrainian ground forces advanced. T-84 main battle tanks moved forward from concealed positions, their 125mm guns trained on perimeter fortifications. Alongside them, captured Russian BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicles advanced towards the eastern gate. Their immediate task was to breach the perimeter before defenders could re-establish coherent command and control. Following the armoured spearhead came highly mobile elements. Motorcycle platoons, each bike weighing roughly 320 pounds, dispersed across open ground and service roads. Each motorcycle carried a two-man team, typically a driver and a gunner equipped with RPGs or light mortars. Moving at speed, they delivered 81mm mortar fire onto guard towers and checkpoints, then displaced rapidly, using smoke and wreckage for cover. To Russian defenders, the attack appeared multi-directional and difficult to predict. Electronic warfare vehicles moved into position behind the advancing units. Antennas deployed, and within seconds, Russian tactical radio networks were disrupted. Orders failed to transmit, and unit coordination deteriorated. Russian self-propelled artillery responded from hardened positions, firing 152mm shells into approach routes. Pantsir S-1 air defense systems, designed primarily for countering aerial threats, were forced into improvised ground fire roles against approaching armor and motorcycles. Tracer fire cut through smoke and dust, destroying several bikes and churning the terrain with shrapnel. Despite these losses, the Ukrainian advance continued. One T-84 absorbed a direct hit to its frontal armor and remained operational, returning fire that collapsed a defensive bunker. Infantry dismounted from BMP-3S and cleared buildings room by room. Motorcycle-mounted mortar teams adjusted fire onto Panzer positions, forcing multiple systems out of action. The hub's interior became a maze of burning vehicles, collapsed structures, and blocked routes. At 4:56 a.m., a critical containment measure was triggered. Along the supply roads feeding the facility, mine-laying robots triggered their charges almost simultaneously. Craters more than 20 feet wide tore through pavement, overturning fuel trucks and trapping reinforcement columns in burning choke points. FPV drones exploited the chaos, striking immobilized artillery pieces and vehicles one after another. Russian counterattacks stalled as movement corridors disappeared. Russian aircraft attempted a final intervention. MiG-27 and Su-35 aircraft re-entered the area at speed, seeking to disrupt Ukrainian ground forces. Ukrainian decoy drones rose to meet them, drawing the aircraft into engagement corridors protected by layered air defenses, including Patriot batteries. Several interceptors detonated near their targets, forcing Russian aircraft to disengage and ending the immediate air threat. By 5:12 a.m., Ukrainian motorcycle units executed their final maneuver. Multiple platoons, totaling nearly 200 motorcycles across successive waves, surged toward remaining fuel depots and command points. At 5:19 a.m., a laser-guided missile struck the last intact cluster of fuel tankers, producing a fireball more than 150 feet high. The logistics yard was rendered completely non-functional. At 5:32 a.m., Ukrainian mechanized reserves completed the encirclement. Multi-launch rocket systems saturated rear approaches, while infantry cleared remaining resistance. By 5:50 a.m., organized Russian defense had collapsed. Isolated platoons surrendered amid smoke and rubble, and the transport hub ceased to operate as a coherent military facility. By the conclusion of the operation, Russian losses were assessed at approximately $1.4 billion, encompassing fuel reserves, armored vehicles, munitions, and critical command infrastructure. Strategically, Russia's capacity to sustain operations through this node was severely degraded, forcing a reassessment of logistics and defensive posture. Ukrainian forces withdrew in an orderly manner, leaving behind a smoldering complex and a clear demonstration that in modern warfare, control of logistics often determines control of the battlefield. As smoke rose into the morning sky, the operation underscored a central reality of modern warfare. Once logistical arteries are severed, operational momentum can collapse rapidly. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more updates.